Hey everyone, today we talk about the goose in the machine. Not in the philosophical sense, but in the way we talk about technology, specifically when we talk about China. I got into it last week with someone on a tech forum, you know the type, a guy who can win any argument because he's not really listening, just waiting to deploy his pre-packaged talking points. We were on the hot-button topic of computer chips, and he was absolutely certain that China is hopelessly behind. His killer argument was that Taiwan and other places can make the most advanced chips, so China has failed. And he's not wrong about where the best chips are made, but his logic has this massive, fatal flaw. He was confusing two completely different things: the skill of manufacturing a chip and the ability to build the machine that manufactures the chip. We always seem to be missing the conversation about the tools. It gets lost in the noise. It's like we're all at a car show arguing about who the best driver is. We talk about lap times, cornering, who can get the most out of their engine. We look at Taiwan, home to TSMC, and say that's the best driver in the world, no question. They can take a high-performance vehicle and do things with it nobody else can. Then the conversation turns to China, where a company like SMIC is now managing to produce 7-nanometer chips for Huawei's Mate 60 Pro phone, a discovery that sent shockwaves through the industry and, as Dan Hutchison of Tech Insights put it, was a slap in the face to the U.S. Suddenly, the critique changes. It's no longer about how well they drive the car. The argument, the one my forum friend was making, becomes, well, you didn't invent the car, and the wheel wasn't your idea either. You probably stole it. We skip right over the driving and go straight to questioning the origins of the machine itself. And this is where the whole debate goes off the rails. Making a chip is like being that expert driver. It requires immense skill, precision, and a massive, expensive operation. But making a lithography machine, the tool that actually prints the microscopic circuits onto the silicon, that's like inventing and building the entire car from scratch. Not just the car, but the robotic factory that assembles it. These machines, especially the most advanced ones made by a single Dutch company, ASML, are arguably the most complicated things humanity has ever built. I once saw a diagram of their EUV machine. It looked less like a manufacturing tool and more like a space station folded in on itself, a labyrinth of mirrors, lasers, and vacuum chambers. They cost hundreds of millions of dollars and are basically miracles of physics and engineering, using extreme ultraviolet light to etch patterns smaller than a virus. As one Reuters report put it, getting the light source right is like trying to hit a postage stamp on the moon with a rifle. So when we only talk about who's making the best chips right now, we're only talking about who has the keys to the world's most advanced race car. Taiwan is that champion driver, but their position is fragile because they don't build the car, they buy it. And as the 2023 export controls on even some of ASML's older DUV machines showed, the seller can always say no. Even ASML's former CEO, Peter Venink, has been critical, arguing the U.S.-led restrictions are based more on geopolitics than facts, and that they ultimately just accelerate China's push for its own technology, a move that could lock foreign firms out of a huge market. The conversation about technology gets stuck on the surface level, on the end product, because that's exciting and easy to understand. It generates clicks and headlines. Talking about the slow, brutally expensive, decades-long process of building the foundational tools, that's boring. It's the plumbing. It's the deep underlying logic of an industry, and it doesn't fit neatly into a talking point. This is the structural bottleneck in our understanding. This is why the whole "they stole the wheel" argument is so dishonest. It's a form of gatekeeping designed to delegitimize any competitor. It's like saying because you didn't personally invent fire from scratch, you have no right to cook.
The basic principles of science are the shared heritage of all mankind. The real challenge, the real measure of sovereignty in the 21st century, is who can turn those principles into a tool of unimaginable precision. Who can build their own engine? The world has gotten used to praising the driver who can master the corner, but it tends to laugh at the guy in the garage covered in grease trying to forge a new kind of engine. Just look at the commentary from Goldman Sachs, which estimates that China's lithography tech is still at least 20 years behind. You can win every single one of those verbal arguments, but you can't argue your way past the laws of physics or the slow march of engineering progress. The machines that will build our future aren't made in a debate. They are born from a stubborn, obsessive, and almost fanatical pursuit of the tool itself. China is trying to make that pivot from being the world's best user of technology to a nation that makes the tools that create the technology, a transition fueled by massive state investment, like the recently announced third phase of the Big Fund, which, as reported by outlets like the South China Morning Post, will inject a staggering $47.5 billion into the domestic industry with a clear focus on chip-making equipment. And that transition from driver to builder is the real story we, and publications like Asia Financial and the South China Morning Post, should be watching.